All right, hey guys, I just want to make a video because I just realized I can make a video about anything. And I can share my heart on anything. And that's a really cool thing to know. So today I want to talk to you about uh my life. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. I just want to talk about the heart and religion. Let's go with that because that kind of is my life. That's my whole life story right there. So let's talk about um, the expression of the heart and uh, knowing God and how religion can encase you in somewhat of a prison, a straitjacket that keeps you from really knowing the God that you desire to know. So I just want to say what I learned from religion is it made me self-conscious. It made me focus on what I was doing, what I was not doing, my ability to do good things and to not do bad things, or made me focus on what I wear, what I don't wear, things like that. And it made me self-conscious, conscious of my own actions and my own things. And though that sounds like, oh, it's not a bad thing, um, it pulls your attention from God. It really does. Because coming into a relationship with God, you realize there's this being, this one that came, this Messiah that came, fulfilled all righteousness, laid down his life to reveal love to us, to reveal our value, to reveal purpose for our life. And he accomplished something that we couldn't accomplish on our own. We didn't have the ability to achieve righteousness in our own efforts. It was something proven in the Old Testament that it never was accomplished. That's why they had to do sacrifices every single year, because we couldn't do it. If we could do it, the sacrifices would have stopped a long time ago. So he, knowing that we couldn't do it on our own, he came to fulfill all righteousness. And then to give that righteousness to us as a gift, as we believe on him and we receive the finished work of the cross. We believe in the salvation that is in the blood. He is our sacrificial lamb. He is the one slain from before the foundation of the world. That he did it in front of us on earth, that we would believe. It's very hard to focus on redemption and know, come to the knowledge of what he's done for us, and to comprehend it, to receive the gift of salvation when we make it about ourselves. How can I be conscious of him if I'm self-conscious? And that's the very thing of what the kingdom really is about. It's about a son consciousness, a consciousness about what he did and what he brought us into, and what we have now become in receiving the Spirit of God, in being born again, what it's made us to be now, what an identity change, what God wanted to reveal to us about ourselves through him. He did what he did to restore what was lost at the fall. That was the motive. That was the heart of his mission as the Messiah, as the Redeemer, as the anointed one. He came to save that which was lost. And it's very hard to exalt God when we're focused on our own works. He came and did away with sin. He paid the debt for us, a debt that we couldn't pay. And religion steals that victory from us. We never get to know our sonship or our adoption and live as a son, live in relationship, knowing that I can run right into my Father's lap and I can sit down. He wants to know my thoughts. He wants to know my heart. I can talk to him freely. I'm welcome. I'm wanted. I have access. I have an inheritance. I have a lot of things. It's a total life change to be adopted. And not only to be adopted, to then be born again by the Spirit of God, is to literally carry the very nature of God, to be one with God at that point, that what God is, I am. God is light, I am light. God is love, I am love. God is spirit, I am spirit. God is fire, I am fire. I carry the very properties of God because I'm born again by the Spirit of God into the family of God. So it's more than just adoption. These are all the things that religion doesn't give you. You don't get to live from the finished work of the cross. You're always making sure by focus. Your focus is on remaining qualified, as though you'd be falling out of salvation constantly, instead of living from salvation and seeing what you have access to now, what is now your new normal. So it's the kingdom of God is much more about renewing the mind than it is behavior modification and regulation and all of those sorts of things. When you realize that sin has been done away with, that there is no sin anymore, that sin is something I have been separated from, because sin is separation from God. If I'm united with God and I am one with God, how can I sin? And we only sin because we're separated. In separation, sin has an appeal because of separation. But to be united with the source of life, if I'm united with love, I'm united with peace, I'm united with joy, I'm united with righteousness, I'm united with holiness, I'm not in a deficit anymore. I am one with the very well of life. I am one with the Spirit of God. I'm one with the one that is life, the one that is joy, that is peace. I'm not going around aimlessly looking for that in all the wrong places. I am now one with the very being that is everything we're looking for. And I live from that place. And as long as we don't have idols and idolatry in our life, is when we're chasing something else, we detach from the vine. Basically, we don't live in what we've been given, and therein lies unrighteousness, things that we find ourselves involved in because we're not living in sonship. We're not living in what we have been given, and so condemnation and shame only produces more of the same. If you're under condemnation, you feel identified by the things you're doing. But in salvation, there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ, who are in the Messiah, who are in the Anointed One, who's one with God. That's no longer a factor for us. So condemnation isn't on us, causing us to produce the same unrighteous behaviors and stuff. Yeah. Feeling like an orphan, living separated, there's somewhat of a depression on such a place that it leads us to all these not great places. And the thing about religion, that it doesn't satisfy the soul, because we're focused on ourselves. We're focused on what we can produce, what we can do for God and all of that. And that's draining. We're still trying to earn salvation. And we're not living in it. We're not living in the relationship. We're still trying to be qualified for the relationship. And it produces secret lives. It produces an emptiness that is then masked in religious behavior, because we're trying to measure up, though in our conscience and our soul we actually feel, we know where we're falling short. We know where we're not meeting that, where our hearts are wicked and we run from light. But when we realize that he paid it all, brought us into the light, qualified us, we receive his righteousness, it's a totally different thing. And so I just kind of want to shed light on that. I feel I have a lot to say on this topic, and this is a bit of an intro of some things that are percolating in my heart. And I just really want to explore talking and sharing. And I'm somewhat stepping into my own sonship by getting behind this mic and letting my heart just kind of start speaking. And one thing I want to talk about, identity and like positioning. So back to the topic of adoption and being born again. So I'm in a new family. I'm in a new kingdom. I have a new citizenship. I have all of these things that are new, right? I'll call them new, as though it just started for the new believer. I would talk from that point of view. God has a plan and a life for me. He has a life for you. He has a specific, like, what person adopts somebody with no plan? Like, I don't even have a bedroom for you. We don't have no clothes. We didn't make dinner for you. Like, like that ain't adoption, you know? Like, God, the ultimate planner, has a beautiful plan. Like, he has divine connections. He has divine things he wants to do. He's wired me for specific things, and he's wired you for specific things. And like I've said, this is I'm exploring what God has planned for me. And as we come into agreement and alignment with the will of God, like, that's like the best place we could be, because it's literally what God designed us for, you know? And my heart really is to see people discover how good God is in their own life by seeing how much he has thought ahead for us, you know? Like beautiful life changes, like getting married, and like who God has for you, who God has for you to run with and to do life with and to do ministry with. And like, there's so much, like, God puts stuff in us and he awakens it in our purpose as we come in alignment with his plan for our lives. And that's so much what the heart of God is. The Spirit of God in us is to raise us up into that. And that's in fellowship, in knowing God. And I guess this is a bit of an intro of some things I want to talk about, because I believe religion robs us of that entire experience of actually living with God in the here and now. That heaven isn't some faraway thing when I die. Heaven is now, and it's a place that I live in, I live from. I dwell in and release into the earth. Because in being one with God, I release what God is everywhere I go. And that's our calling in sonship. So I have a lot of thoughts percolating in my head. And this is what I want to share today. And stay tuned for more. All right. Be blessed.